Hi everyone. Good morning. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're having another start to the Facebook Live, so we're a little bit late. So basically what I have here is some onions that are on, and just in a little bit of water. And I have my cabbage here, and we're going to do a cabbage. We're going to do a cabbage slaw. I'm just wondering how to cut it because it appears to me that this cabbage has some little dots in the middle, and so that is just so strange. So I'm just going to try and trim that off. And that reminds me that I was watching. Let's see how far these guys go in. Okay, we'll just use the other part. I mean, I'm sure it's all good, but we'll use the healthier looking side. Sometimes it happens, right? You know, you get something, some kind of produce or, you know, any other thing, and it's not always in the best shape. And so you just have to kind of work around that. Yeah, so this part looks pretty good, so I'm actually going to attempt to just pick around it because, you know, you don't want to be wasting food. And so, yeah, so you want to really pay attention to not wasting food, especially during these times. And that reminds me, for those of you that, hey, hi. New people coming on, that's awesome. So yeah, so I'm going to attempt to do this really fine. And you know what? It doesn't really matter for however it is that you want to slice the cabbage. So we're just doing the little cabbage thing, and the red cabbage actually has more vitamin C than and more antioxidants than goji berries. So if you didn't know that, the red cabbage is super, super good for you. Awesome, healthy, has all of the benefits of the goji berries and the vitamin C, and it also has vitamin K. And so if you didn't know, the green cabbage has more vitamin K than vitamin C. And in fact, most of your cruciferous vegetables are going to have a lot of vitamin K. So really, really important during these times because it gives you your vitamin K, which you need with your vitamin D. And all the other things that everyone's suggesting right now. You know, you're super important to be taking your vitamin C, really, really important. You know, the vitamin D, of course, is super important. And the zinc is super important. And they're saying to take quercetin. Good morning, Kathy. Hi, nice to see you. So we're just slicing up some cabbage here, make a little bit of cabbage slaw. And I was saying that the... I don't know why, but the cabbage has some little black dots in certain areas. And so I'm just trying to avoid that carefully. And although I'm sure that it's just fine, I'm not sure what those are from. But, you know, you just don't want to waste any food. So I'm going to try and cut around it and maybe Google what the little black spots are. I don't know. So, yeah, it could be just that part of the cabbage or something. And... which reminds me, you know, I was watching a video by Dr. Zach Bush, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he was talking about the importance of the food and so many, you know, the food chain, food supply, and so many different reasons to really be proactive in securing your food source. And how important it is for everyone to garden. So, yeah, it was interesting because he was showing some statistics on that you know, that they want the farming to be done by these huge, you know, I don't know, 1,000-acre, hectare, whatever they are, huge farming operations or organizations, companies. And he was saying, I found it really interesting, he was saying that the small farmers actually produce more food per acre than the than the big companies. So I thought that was really interesting, because he said that, you know, that they have such a big acreage, but you know, they're utilizing so much space, but there's so much wasted space and a repetition of crops that they don't get the variety that the small farmer does. So support your small farmers. And I know we're kind of entering into wintry, you know, months, but this is the time to look into getting your seeds and planting a garden and planning how it will be. And I am not at all the one to give you any advice on that, other than find someone that knows what they're doing and start doing whatever it is that resonates for you. I took a gardening course by Alexandra Leupold, and it was the Cosmic Garden, which it helped me out so much, because I never really had time for much of a garden in the past. And so, talking too much and almost scorching the onions, which I don't want to do, so I'm going to turn this right off. I just wanted these cooked a little bit. And so anyways, yeah, so definitely find someone that knows what they're doing with gardening. Kathy's a very, very good gardener. And get your garden going, because it's super, super important right now. Okay, so we just have the cabbage here and sliced it up, and we're just going to have our onions cooked, but the cabbage is going to be raw and the carrots are going to be raw. So it's kind of like a raw salad with some cooked onions, which will add, you know, nice flavor to it. And speaking of my little carrot, I'm gonna have to chop this one. I think I didn't wrap it. Like, I try not to keep everything in plastic, you know, in the fridge. I use those, they're like a little nylon mesh bag. And, oh yes. Oh, good. We should put apple with the, with the cabbage. Good to know. That's so nice. When we have the Facebook Live, we have so many additional comments and suggestions, and it's so nice to learn from each other all the different things. And so, yeah, so Monica's just saying to add some apple to it, because it helps with expelling the bacteria and other benefits. Just trying to read it from here. But yeah, good advice. And so, yeah, so that's a really good thing. And so we're going to add the carrots to it. The carrots just want to go a little bit sideways here. And this is just a little bit of a twist on a recipe. You know, I make cabbage, like a cabbagey coleslaw quite often, because we really do like that with sort of a veganese type of slaw-ish dressing. So I'm just going to grab another carrot here. So yeah, so super important to pay attention to your food source. Make sure that you get to know. I know that the farming season's over and the farmers markets are closed and stuff. But start looking that stuff up now. Like, don't wait till the last minute. And hopefully we'll have a really good early spring. That would be so super awesome. But make sure for right now you're taking care of your immune system and staying healthy for this winter. So we talked about the importance of different things like sage yesterday for helping to dry if you're over moist and over mucousy. And bay really helps for anti-inflammatory. And, you know, just don't forget about garlic. Garlic is so good, honestly. It's helpful for people to have, I think, a clove a day, like of the fresh. You know, I think it's so super important for your immune system. So we also have another thing that's really super prolific. That's a good word. I'm trying to look for the right word. We have something that's super prolific right now that's happening around here. If you happen to live around here in the Pacific Northwest, I'll just show you. And it's this here. It's Usnea. And sometimes it grows in long strings. And this particular one, there are a couple ones. Locally, people might call it old man's beard. but it's a little different than that. It's a different moss, or I mean, it's kind of a lichen rather than a moss. And so, although I could be wrong on that, but to me it is anyways. And so the difference with the other hanging mosses is that they don't, when they break apart, they just break. And with the Usnea, you can know for sure that it's Usnea if you pull it apart, pull the little fiber apart, and it has a white string in the middle, and that's the true Usnea. And a lot of times it grows in little clusters like this. Like this is actually quite a big, magnificent cluster. They don't usually get that big. They're usually little strings or little tiny puffs or, you know, whatever. But anyway, this is all over the Pacific Northwest right now. It seems to be a Usnea year for some reason. And it's so good for, it works as a natural antibiotic. It's really good for lung issues, or anything that's going on. It's just like a really gentle sort of, you know, it has antibiotic properties in it. So if you see some, just give a little pull. Like this is dried, so when I pull, it's going to snap and you won't see the string. But when you get it outside, like when you gather it, and always ask permission when you're gathering medicine from nature, always ask permission. But when you gather it, it will be damp and wet outside usually. And so just, it'll be very elastic. And so just give it a little pull. And if you see the white string in the middle, then that is the Usnea. So it's pretty easy to identify. Hey, Wendy, hi, how are you? Nice to see you on here. So yeah, so Usnea is a really good one to have around. And to use it, you can dry it like that. Like I just left it in the kitchen. You know, it's pretty easy to dry. It dries very quickly. And so you can put it in a tea and steep it. If you're using it in a tea, you can use it over and over several times, like a little tiny bit. Would last for about 3 teapots full, you know. So you're going to see just a little tiny, I don't know, I'm covering it, aren't I? You guys can't see it. I'm talking away about something and I'm not showing you very well. Okay, so it's going to get a little bit of color, but not a lot, because as you can see, it's just a light green. So you're going to get a little bit of color in the first teapot, and then let it steep, or you can simmer it, gently simmer it. It's a little more fragile than some things, so you don't want to boil it, but you could simmer it for a bit just to draw the properties out, the medicine. And or you could just pour hot water over it and let it steep, because it comes out pretty quickly. And so it's very mild tasting. It tastes like pretty much nothing. So you could add it to your other teas as well if you want to. But yeah, it seems to be everywhere right now, and it's so beautiful. Like we were saying that this summer, during the summer, we were saying that different plants came depending on what we needed, right? So that nature has a way of providing the exact weeds or herbs or plants that is needed in that area. And so I've noticed in the past, in some years, we have tons of St. John's wort. And St. John's wort is known for as being an antidepressant. And so some years, you know, and some areas, you know, it happens in certain areas, there's lots of it. And then, you know, I pay attention to that. What's going on? Like what's going on in the world right now, and that kind of thing. And we had quite a bit of it this summer, a lot of it. But what was really interesting also was that we had a lot of foxglove, like tons of foxglove everywhere. And foxglove has digitalis in it. It's not something you're going to use. It's actually toxic, you know, so I'm not advising using it. But I mean, they do make digitalis out of it through the pharmaceutical companies and stuff. So it is a heart medicine, but it's not something we would take. It's not to be taken that way. But energetically, the foxglove was everywhere, because energetically we were all about the heart this summer. Everyone had hearts on, you know, and still does have hearts on their windows and everything to support the care workers. And so it was interesting that the foxglove decided to come and be everywhere this summer. It was just everywhere. And so it was bringing in heart energy, even though it's not something that we could use as a herb ourselves, it was holding that, you know, protecting the heart. The other thing I saw in certain areas, because it doesn't grow everywhere, is it's not a weed, is hawthorn, which is also heart medicine. And now it seems like everywhere I look, there's usnea. And the usnea is a natural, has been used for traditionally for years as a natural antibiotic. So it's like, okay, here's another medicine to help you through the winter. And so I think that's so cool how nature brings about the plants that we need for the certain times in certain areas. So it's super cool. So if you see some usnea, give the string a little pull. If it has the little white thing in the middle, it's really nice in a tea. Always make sure you know for sure the plant that you're identifying is the plant that you're looking for. But the usnea is fairly easy to identify. You can look up some books and things like that just to make sure, or go for a walk with a herbalist or someone who knows. Okay, so I'm just going to, how am I for seeing things here? Let's just move this over a little bit. Okay, so what I've done here is super simple. I did cook the onions. Okay, so I just thought that would bring in an additional flavor to my coleslaw. This is going to be like a purple cabbage coleslaw. And like we said earlier, the purple cabbage has so many antioxidants. It is, you know, I am just going to push this over and get it over here because it's too far away from me. There we go. So, yeah, so the purple cabbage has as many antioxidants and is as good for you as goji berries, and much cheaper. So your purple cabbage is amazing with the vitamin C content, vitamin K, antioxidants, anti-inflammatory, and all that. The onions are also anti-inflammatory. And so we have the cooked onions, and then the raw carrots. Of course, everybody knows carrots have beta carotene and good for the eyes and all that kind of stuff. So we're just going to mix this together here. And for the dressing, I've got a couple things I wanted to show you guys. Okay, I'll try and stick with this. I'll try and stick with one thought at a time. And then I'll try not to forget the other things. I'm going to use a veganese. I love this stuff. This is like my favorite veganese. I'm not a mayonnaise lover at all. Never have been. There's something about that. I don't know something about the flavor I don't like. But the veganese is very mild, and I really like it. I love that it's super mild. Doesn't have that really strong whatever that taste is with the other ones, and it doesn't matter which. So I've got I'm doing this. I know I should explain what I'm doing. It's almost empty. Okay, so I've got probably 1/4 cup left in here. Normally I would spoon this out into another jar and then shake it for my dressing, but since this is almost empty and has pretty much the perfect amount for this salad, I'm just going to add a little bit of apple cider vinegar to it. I don't know, that was probably about 2 tablespoons. And this is the homemade apple cider vinegar that I actually made this a couple of years ago, but we made 8 gallons of it this summer, and it's so awesome because when you make it yourself, it comes out in different strengths of apple cider, in different strengths of sourness. And so out of the 8 gallons, I got some that was really mild, some that was medium, and some was like super, you know, like what you'd buy in the store, very vinegary. And so that was really fun and awesome. So I encourage you to do that with your apples. Try and make some apple cider vinegar. It's super easy. I'm sure you can find the video on it. I have some on my YouTube, but there's a million out there. So I am going to add a little bit of the cayenne because I do like just a little bit of, oops. It's going to be pretty spicy. What happened? What happened? There you go. That's what I get for not using utensils to measure with. Okay, let me see if I can get some of that out of there. That is going to be way too hot. Okay, let's do the rescue here. To the rescue. Let's grab a little bit more of that. Okay. This is not very much of the veganese in there. All right, that should do it. Okay, so the thing with cooking, which everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people on my Facebook are like, you know, you just make it look so easy because you make a mistake and you don't worry about it. And it's only food, right? So if you do something wrong, you can do something like that to fix it. The other thing that can help if it's still spicy is adding a little bit of sweetener or sugar. I usually use a coconut sugar for most things because it has a lower glycemic index and it has a nice sort of caramely flavor, which is super awesome. But in this case, I'm going to use my plan for today is to use a maple syrup. So I'm going to add a little bit of maple syrup to this. And I'm going to guess at 2 tablespoons as well. And to even out the apple cider vinegar. And, you know, usually add some salt and pepper, whatever you want. I am going to add a little bit of the granulated garlic. So it's just a granulated garlic. It's not garlic powder and it's not garlic salt. But I am going to add Celtic sea salt. And actually, I think I'm just going to add it right in here. Because if I try and sprinkle it over that, it'll probably go all over, which is like what happens on a daily basis. I'm constantly getting things all over the floor. So we're going to add some black pepper as well. And love the black pepper. Wonder if we should add some fresh garlic. Okay. But to be able to deal with the fresh garlic, I need to clear a spot on my little tiny space, my cutting board here. So anyways, I'm just going to shake this up. Okay, did I get all that? Did it do it? Not quite. We're always having to fiddle around a little bit, you know, with recipes and scraping things down. And I tend to always try and do things what I think will be the easy way or the fastest, quickest way. And that doesn't always work. I tend to do things and then figure out how I was supposed to do it later. I'm so bad for that. Okay, so we're going to do this. Break this up. You could use a fork, you could use a whisk, you could do all kinds of things that a professional cook would do. I am not a professional cook. I'm a certified herbalist and natural health consultant. And I just do things, I just share with people how I make healthy food. And it is definitely not at all professional. Okay, so I'm just going to get that on there. So that is going to be beautiful. And I think I will add just a little bit of fresh garlic to that. Right now is the time to be, right now is the time to be eating as much garlic as possible, honestly. Okay, I'll set that there. So obviously, you know, if you've seen any of my previous videos, it's always a good idea to wash everything, have everything super clean before you start. And of course, I'm sure everybody is used to washing your hands, and washing all your produce. I wash mine before I put it into the fridge so that it's all ready to go. And to me, it saves so much time in, you know, in not having to take it out and wash it like it, you know, whenever you're eating at 4:30, 5 o'clock or whatever that is. Okay, so that's our lovely garlic, fresh. Oh, nice. Just mixing that right in there. And yeah, so that's it. It has just a little bit of a twist because of the cooked onion. And the other thing I'm going to add is we made these a couple weeks ago, and these guys are just super crazy awesome. These are the coconut chips that we made, and we mixed tamari, which is like a natural soy type sauce. Hey, good morning, darling. Nice to see you. So we made the coconut chips with a tamari sauce and a maple syrup, and then just a little bit of smoke, liquid smoke for sort of a bacony flavor. So we're going to add a few of these guys. They're going to come out in chunks. That's okay. I'm going to stir it up anyway, so it won't really matter. So yeah. This will give it a little bit extra sweetness with a little bit of spicy, smoky, bacony kind of thing. If you wanted to, you can add, I'll just crunch those up. you can add, Epicure actually has an amazing tasting natural bacon bits. And I think it's called Better Than Bacon, and it's awesome. So you could add that to this too. You know, you could do anything if you wanted to. You know, try to stay away from gluten as much as possible. But if you wanted to, you could add some of those crunchy noodles, you know, to make it more of a oriental. Which reminds me, we should do a oriental sesame ginger one of these, you know, also. So that'll be, yeah, that's a good idea for soon. So I wanted to show you guys here in my mess the plant-based meatballs that we made yesterday. They turned out really nice. See, nice. They're holding together. So we made these yesterday. We baked them. I used some of them in my spaghetti sauce, my homemade spaghetti sauce last night. And then with the rest of these, what I'm going to do, which I could have done here with you guys, but anyway, it's pretty easy. I am going to do a sesame ginger, kind of like teriyaki sauce over these to make them taste like a sesame ginger meatball kind of thing. So that's what I'm going to do with these guys for tonight. And then I have to say, this is the Usnea for anybody that has just come on. We're explaining the antibiotic properties of the Usnea. I'll put that back. And then, so this is for tomorrow. And my attempt, we had a fantastic result with the marzipan. The marzipan turned out like primo amazing. So I'm going to give it a shot, as I always do, experiment with things, with trying a baklava. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. Hopefully it will taste as good as the marzipan. So what you're doing, or what I'm doing, is you're soaking oats. These are soaked oats. These are going to soak, and this is soaked dates. So I'm going to drain off the excess water, put them into the Vitamix, blend them up, and put them on the dehydrator sheet. And yeah, so that's the plan for that. And so once they're dehydrated for, you know, until they're crispy, then we're going to give that a shot, making the baklava tomorrow, I'm hoping, fingers crossed. So yeah, so thanks for coming and hanging out, and so we'll see you tomorrow. Did I show you everything that I had to to remind you about? Okay, so that's what's going on. So feel free to make a beautiful cabbage salad, and I look forward to your comments and your suggestions, and oh, all those things. Check out my Instagram, my YouTube channel, share and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 11.